Hi friends. If you click to see what I picked out from the new Makeup by Mario collection, then please keep on watching. Hi, my name's Alicia. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeup, you can head over to my Instagram. Celebrity makeup artist Mario Derivanovic, also known as Makeup by Mario across the interwebs, has recently released his makeup collection on October 1st, which happens to be his birthday. The collection debuted in Sephora as well as his own website, makeupbymario.com. If you haven't heard of Mario Derivanovic, he is best known as Kim Kardashian West's makeup artist, but he has done other starlets like Gabrielle Union, Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato. Typically, I'm more interested in buying makeup from artists simply because I think there's a strong why behind their formulations. I have an opportunity to experience their vision, to experience how they like to apply makeup, behind the principles of their technique. And in addition to his birthday and his collection dropping, this year also marks his 20th anniversary as a makeup artist. So a huge congratulations to him. Not only does he have his collection, but he has met a huge milestone in his career. As a side note, however, Mario was born in the Bronx, just like me, and I attended middle school with 3 Albanian young ladies, Albania, and Bazarte. Him being from the Bronx, me being from the Bronx, me going to school with Albanians. I already had that connection with him. I don't know why. I guess that was the reason. So I have to root for my fellow New Yorker, okay? In every interview I saw, an appearance he made, I felt this just chill vibe, very humble, and I feel Mario is just a nice person. He also mentioned in one interview that he is passionate about teaching, and being a fitness professional, I am the same way in people feeling empowered in their movement practice. So I totally get where he's coming from in just wanting to help people thrive in whatever space that is, whether it's cooking, beauty, you know, arts and crafts, whatever. And I vibe with those intentions. And he just wants to do his job. He realizes he's like super famous, but at the end of the day, he considers himself a makeup artist and a teacher. And that's it. To quickly go over Mario's timeline, he started in Sephora in the fragrance department, selling some parfum, and he started doing makeup in 2000, worked in Sephora during the week, news gig over the weekend. We fast forward to 2008 on this fateful day where his colleague asked if he could do a magazine cover for a young lady named Kim Kardashian. And Mario was like, I can't do it. And his friend was like, well, can you please try to figure it out? They figured it out. And Kim was enchanted by how Mario did her makeup. She was taking all the pictures of herself all day. That didn't change much. The only difference was that she had an actual camera, not a smartphone. That was the only difference. At the time, Mario's agency heavily encouraged him to drop Kim as a client because they're like, she's a reality TV show star. You're not going to get very far with her because her reputation is terrible. Mario thought, well, I can't do that because I actually like her and I think she's a nice person. So he broke up with his agency, stuck with Kim. I think like 5 Vogue covers later, all the Met Gala looks, all sold out masterclasses that held upwards of 25,000 people, a collaboration with ABH, and perhaps one of the most highly anticipated makeup releases ever in the beauty industry. On April 15th, 2018, the KKW and Mario collab, which was inspired by all the looks he had done on Kim over the years. And now we fast forward to this year where he has his own makeup collection. Mario is often associated with contouring. He even says this himself on an ABC interview that it's not so much he invented contouring, because contouring has been a part of the professional makeup sphere of techniques for years. I think he realizes that he popularized it, and again, his relationship with Kim catapulted his career, and a lot of what he did, which involved contouring early on when he started doing her makeup, was presented as something everyone wanted to do. And he also realized that people admired celebrity makeup, these immaculate sculpted faces, but they didn't have the tricks of the trade. And I think Mario wanted to bridge the gap between professional celebrity makeup artists and the average makeup wearer, because people wanted some of that celebrity makeup experience, but done and delivered in an accessible way. I went onto his website to further understand the premise of his brand and found that, quote, Mario's meticulously crafted collection of pro products and tools are developed with the professional artist in mind, using the highest quality formulas created to elevate application and recreate his signature techniques and universal shades for all skin tones. He also mentioned in a Zoom call among several magazine editors that he researched how the average makeup wearer applies makeup, people like his sisters, his cousins, his colleagues, and wanted to formulate products that were accessible and approachable. So upon seeing the package, because I do understand the pro element in having the metallics and mattes separate, and I learned that during an interview hosted by Stephanie Nicole, Anastasia from Vizier, and Alphonse from Muse Beauty Pro when they released their Grand Pro Volume 1. They were explaining on a professional makeup setting that if a model needs a matte eye, one speck of mica, shimmer, or metallic can ruin the whole photograph. So to ensure there's no cross-contamination of textures, you will have your mattes all in one palette, your metallics and shimmers all in another palette. And I think that's where the professional element is presented here in Mario's collection, that he separates the textures, and you see here that you have the master mattes and the master metallics in separate palettes, but I think the consumer experience is expressed in how the packaging design is, but the professional part I think gets lost because they're not distinguishable, for the exception of the label on the back. So I will have to then put a label here on the top, because in a fast-paced setting it's a lot easier to have a clear lid. For instance, this is the Vizier Pro palette, which I immediately thought about when I saw his collection release. This is their neutral matte palette because, again, you have all textures in one palette, you have the clear lid. I think this design is definitely more pro appropriate, but I do recognize both sides of the coin here. In terms of his actual collection, it is all self-funded, by the way. Wow. And Mario wanted to release eye products first, as it reflects how he does makeup on his clients. He usually likes to start with the eyes, as it frames the face and kind of influences what he will decide to use on the rest of the face. So what did I get? I did not get any of the brushes because, you know, I'm Fude all the way. Okay, let's start out with his master mattes. This palette retails for $48. It comes with 12 mattes, weighs in at 12 grams or 0.36 ounces of product. The mattes are not named, they are simply labeled mattes 1 through 12. It has a suggested shelf life of 24 months and made in the USA. This is my very first formula I developed for Makeup by Mario. These are my ride or die shades, uniquely shaded and inspired by human skin tones from light to deep. This custom professional matte formula has a feather-light creamy feel and applies evenly with medium buildable and blendable coverage. My favorite thing about this formula is that it offers superior grip and adherence with minimal fallout to achieve the cleanest application. This is the ultimate timeless matte palette. Before I roll into B-roll, I also wanted to go over the product details for the Master Eye Prep and Set in medium. This palette retails for $28. You get 2 cream products and 1 light pressed powder, and it comes in 3 colorways. It has a suggested shelf life of 12 months and it is made in the USA. I always like to have multiple shades available, Mario says, for times when the skin is tanner or lighter or when you're addressing uneven skin tone. In addition to prepping and setting, the portable kit corrects eyeshadow mistakes, provides a base for your favorite eyeshadow, and is perfect for touching up your look on the go. Now here on the demo, I applied the lighter of the 2 cream shades under my brow just to carve it out, and they look really intense because I just got them microbladed, so don't mind that. And then I went in with the medium cream shade all over my lid, and although the pressed powder is in the palette and I realized that Mario sometimes likes to set his eye primer, I haven't been setting my eye primer, so today I actually applied some of the cream under my eyes over concealer. So I realized that this product is not necessarily marketed as a concealer, but I just wanted to experiment with the texture. It brightened up my under eyes some. But going back to the first B-roll of the Master Prep, I applied the loose powder on my brow bone, which I think is a nice way to incorporate that product. But then I also applied it on my under eyes to set the prep concealer, or rather the prep over my concealer. So I actually like the pressed powder in this palette to set under the eyes lightly because the powder is very lightweight in feel and texture. In terms of the actual product, I really like it. I used it under the Master Metallic shades here today, And I rather use a palette than a squeezy tube. And I love my Hourglass Veil Eye Primer. I love the texture. I love how it keeps my eyeshadow on all day. It maintains their color richness and their longevity, but it could be a little bit of a pain when you squeeze out too much and then you gotta apply it. I just find this texture is a lot faster and easier to use. You just slap it on and it goes over the lid well. It eliminates discoloration, it evens out the lid area, and it preps the eyes well, not only for matte textures but metallics as well. That's the lighter shade, and here is the slightly deeper one. So there is some distinct differences between the tones. I like the medium palette. For me, I think this shade is great and it could be light enough to apply all over the lid if I want a little bit of pop. He also mentioned that he likes to rely on these types of products to set up the foundation of the eye shape. So he'll go in with a deeper shade along the crease and he'll apply eyeshadow on top to build the eye with the cream product, and then he'll follow with the powder product. So it's very interesting. Again, I said this in the beginning of the video, to experience how he applies makeup, and I appreciate that because I think everyone has their way of applying makeup. There are no rules, they're just different perspectives, different techniques, and I like this product. I really do. I love the construction of the compact. It's a magnetic closure. It has the Makeup by Mario logo here on the front, and I just, again, it feels very heavy, it feels very sturdy, and I'm really excited to continue using this and just bringing it along with me for wherever I decide to go. I don't know, not very far. Moving on to Master Mattes, and I'll get into the Master Metallics and the Master Metals, those product details when we get to the product, okay fam? Because there's a lot of product, okay? Going into the Master Mattes, I then use the first beige shade with my Smith 256 flat arrowhead brush just to set the brow bone. And to give a little highlight there, I much rather use a light matte than a shimmery metallic texture. Then I go in with matte number 2 with my Sonergy Blender Pro. Going in on the crease and observing how it appears on the skin is light on me, but it's a nice one and done color if I just want very light shading on my crease. And going in now with matte number 3 is a little lighter, so this will probably serve the purpose of being a lid shade for me if I do just wanted to mattify my whole lid. And going on top of that lighter beige shade, but as you see here, the mattes are very buildable. They're lightweight, and I believe that was intentional because, again, Mario wanted to create accessible makeup application for someone who's not confident in using mattes, or maybe they feel every time they try to blend a matte is a disaster. I don't think you'll run into any muddying with these shades because they layer on very well. If you have the Viseart Neutral Mattes 1, then you don't need to get this palette. Again, I wanted to get it because I'm very interested to see what his perspective is on neutral shades. I do think overall the palette leans warm neutral, not as many cools, and that's the advantage that Neutral Mattes 1 has. It has a little more cool than all warm, right? So this is a little more comprehensive in terms of that offering, but just want to let you know. Matte number 5 definitely lays on a little more color, and this I feel is one of the more mustard leaning mattes. But again, it looks really soft on the skin and I find very easy to apply. With matte number 6, it has a little more deepness to it. This color in particular is a little more harder pressed, so it definitely needed building. Maybe you pick this up with a shader brush instead of a blender one like I'm doing here in the demo, but eventually I got it to where it needed to be. But I like how soft this brown is. Again, it makes it very easy to apply. With matte number 7, it has a little more red in it, so I proceed to apply this on the actual lid and I'll create a whole matte look from then on. I should have used a shader brush, but I found that the Blender Pro picked up enough so I could spread that color all across my lid, and I thought it blended really nicely with the 5th mustard matte I applied previously. And we skip over to matte number 10, which has a little more red, a little more depth, and I apply that on the outer corner of my eye, and I thought it melted really nicely and created some depth of color there on the outer part of my lid. I then go in with that same color, but now on the whole lid on the other eye, and since this has a little more intensity, it will turn out a touch smokier. But I like the tone. It's not too cool but not too warm either. I think it's a nice neutral dark brown. Now with this warmer red tone brown, I go in with my smaller blender brush and apply that on the lower lash line, and I thought that was a really nice combination with what's going on the lid. And then with matte number 7, which is more like a peachier warm brown shade, I apply that on this lower lash line. Very smooth, easy to use. Again, there's nothing so standout and revolutionary about these mattes, but they're great mattes. And I feel this is the blend and the look, the effect that Mario likes to achieve on his clients. And then I use the first beige matte just to create some highlight on the inner corner, as I like to do sometimes, taking a break from applying a shimmer or metallic on the inner corner of the eyes. And going in with my small shader brush with a dark brown shade, I just stamp it along the lower lash line right under the lashes to create a little more intensity. For the lash line, the Master Pigment Pro pencil that has a brush on one side and the pencil on the other. This pencil retails for $22. It has a suggested shelf life of 18 months and it is made in Italy. On one end, the velvety gel-based formula delivers a clean line with a super full coverage finish in a single swipe. It has incredible grip and adherence after it sets, but still allows for time to blend, layer, and define. For a soft, symmetrical line, use the brush to smudge and blend along the lash line. All Master Pigment Pro pencils come with a black Master Pigment Pro pencil sharpener, designed for this formula with a sharp custom blade to ensure your pencil maintains a nice, clean, sharpened tip. The sharpener features a removable cleaning stick, so you can remove excess shavings and enjoy even sharpening with every use. What? Well, why don't look at that? Who knew? Thanks, Mario. Immediately upon seeing this brush end, I appreciate that it's there, but I think the bristles they're a little too long for me, and I like something shorter in bristle length because I feel it moves the product better across my lid, across my lash line rather. I first applied the pencil in the perfect brown, very smooth in consistency. I felt very easy to apply. There wasn't any dragging, there wasn't any pulling, and the brown color is a true brown color, not too cool, not too warm, and perfect if you want a soft definition on the lash line if you don't want to commit to a black color. And then I use my Hakuhodo flat shader brush to zhuzh the edges, if you will, to make the line appear smoother, to make it appear more smoky. And I thought fairly easy to manipulate the product. It didn't set down right away. It moved nicely without me feeling I had to pull and tug on my skin. Then moving on to the Pigment Pro pencil in perfect black, same consistency, very smooth to apply, very, very black. So if you like to line your waterline and inner rim, this will do it. Because I'm not one to line my inner rim, I couldn't tell you the staying power because I usually don't wear liner there, but I could speak for the lash line application. And I proceeded with my same Hakuhodo brush to blend that line out. And again, really nice to manipulate, very easy to do so. And the black didn't lessen in color. It moved quite nicely and smoothly across my lash line and added nice intensity to my lash line. And here's the finished look with both eyes done with both Pigment Pro pencils on the lash line, just so you could get an idea of the shade. It's a really nice soft matte look. I really like it. I think if I wanted to go easy one day and create a really soft matte look, that I could rely on this palette and pencils to do just that. Master Metallics. The Master Metallics eyeshadow palette retails for $48. Comes in 12 shades, just like the Master Matte. Suggested shelf life of 24 months. Oh, and this product is made in Italy. And the weight is the same as the Master Matte's palettes, 1 gram per product, or just 12 grams for the whole palette. The Master Metallics palette is inspired by colors found within our bodies and represents my love of human nature. These creamy shadows deliver a range of chromatic effects from natural to intense with high impact shine. The Luxe formula can be used wet or dry to achieve a light wash of color or full coverage shine. It was really interesting while explaining the color palette, he was saying that on a molecular level that our cells depict this beautiful color palette, and he wanted to replicate that in a palette. I thought that was really cool. That was really science nerdy cool, you know what I'm saying? In the demo, I start out with metallic number 11 with my Chikuhodo F05 brush, and it picked up a nice amount, and I think ideally I would apply this with a finger, as I usually experience the same thing with my other favorite metallics, just get more vibrancy and impact when applying with a finger. But then I go back with my Chikuhodo brush to blend that shadow in throughout my crease, and I really appreciate the creaminess of these metallics, that you could wear them exclusively on your lid, or you can manipulate them to smooth through the crease like a matte, which I have expressed several times with Natasha Denona formula, with Pat's metallic formula, that I just like to smooth that through the crease and be done. You know what I'm saying? I go in with one of the matte shades just to blend the edges of that metallic shade. And again, I appreciate the lightweight nature and the fact that these mattes are not super pigmented, so I can layer them successfully without them muddying up. With metallic number 2, I placed that on the inner part of the eye, and it has such a beautiful pink twinkle to it. It almost reminds me of Pat McGrath's Cosmic from her Dark Galaxy palette, or from her most recent release, Celestial Divinity. Metallic number 9, I just whisk along the lower lash line. And these metallics have nice movement. I think they don't have to be limited to just a lid application. You could apply it on your crease, throughout the crease, on the lower lash line. And it gives a really nice soft skin-like finish, and it has some sheen to it. So I feel it adds really nice dimension. With metallic number 10, which is like an orange shade, I just placed that on the inner part of the lower lash line with my Sonia G. Smudge it too. And that coppery orange tone pair with that more cranberry metallic I think is beautiful. And then I go in with this yellow gold shade on the inner part of the eye, and it has really nice brightness to it, lightweight, very, I want to say thin in a positive way. It doesn't have a lot of texture, and I think it just melts into the skin beautifully. I got a little bit of fallout, but I thought it whisked away pretty effortlessly from under my eye, and it didn't leave any dragging or tracking. And I'll quickly do a little segue into the Master Reflector, which is funny because this product, it's labeled as a highlighter, but the name of the product is Master Crystal Reflector. He has demo tutorials on all of his product pages on his website. When he demos this product, he doesn't apply it on the face, which is what I did in one demo. I could show it here just so you can see. I applied it on top of the Master Secret Glow Inexpensive. I thought that's where it went, but I was mistaken, and I just assumed because again it said highlighter, it goes on your face. He actually demos this to be placed on the eyes, and then I applied the bronzite color on top of the like metallic magenta shade I first started my eye look with, and it's gorgeous. It has beautiful reflectivity, the sparkly, arcly types of things. Listen, let me just quickly go into the details for this product, and then we could continue on with the Master Metallic Eye demo. This product retails for $24. It weighs in at 3.5 grams or 0.12 ounces of product, has a suggested shelf life of 24 months, and is made in Italy. Inspired by my love of crystal, Spotlight Crystal Reflector illuminates the skin with a lightweight, wet, and foil-like finish. The supremely blendable, bouncy powder highlights the eyes and cheeks. See? I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's why I went in with the cheeks. With a unique effect that looks like an aquatic radiant light, I could envision just the sun, moon, and stars, their reflectivity upon the water. You know, I think that's what he wanted to replicate. Subtle and sheer with gorgeous luminosity. I use it as a topper to create a spotlight effect across the features of the face. When it's hit by light, prismatic colors emerge, illuminating the skin with transparent, sparkling shine. But a lot of my friends had used this. They weren't crazy about the texture, and I definitely acknowledge that because we're looking at a drier type of texture that will benefit more on top of an emollient base, and that's why I went in with the Master Secret Glow. This is like his balmy highlighter. Then, you know, why not? We'll roll into those product details. These timestamps are going to be all over the place, fam. I'm just letting you know. I'm so sorry. Master Secret Glow Expensive, $22, 1.5 grams or 0.05 ounces of product. Suggested shelf life of, is that 18 or 10? I want to say 18 months. Hopefully I'm not wrong. And this product is made in the USA. I call my signature Secret Glow the Expensive Glow. With a texture like solid water, this super hydrating translucent balm gives eyes, cheeks, and lips the most alluring, gorgeous glow. Apply it to bare skin or layer it over makeup as a final touch to your look. The lustrous formula offers extraordinary grip and holds your makeup in place for a stunning emollient finish. Okay, so I was correct in trying the Master Reflector. All the master names names, the Master Crystal Reflector over the Master Balm, the Master Secret. I'm calling it the Master Balm, okay? I'm sorry, fam. And that setup just benefits the overall look of the product, especially if you're not crazy about the reflector texture in general. Like here in the Master Metallics demo, I applied it over the eyeshadow, and I think it's just a great opportunity to invite that dazzle reflective effect on the eyes. In fact, I consider this to be like a lighter weight version than Pat's like astral shades, right? Because people have said several times that the astral shades are just too dry, they're too glittery, but I think this is a little more lightweight, a little more user-friendly, and I understand this is a lot of product just to use as highlighter or just to use on the eyes, but you know, just get one color if you're interested in this type of texture. But you know, I think it's fun. I like it, especially when you apply it over the bum. I have Cosmic on top, so I had a makeup lesson and I was experimenting. I feel this would be bomb if you place it over your favorite cream highlighter to amplify the shine and dazzle, you know what I'm saying? And I love how it looks on the eyes. And I've had this on for a few hours. I didn't experience any eye dryness, any type of irritation, itchiness, and I think the longevity is pretty good. Let me see now. It is $5.29. I applied this makeup around 12. 5 hours is not a super long time, but I think we're doing pretty good, fam. This is more to evaluate the staying power of the Master Set and Prep. I think the Master Set and Prep's doing good. Let me apply citrine on the inner corner. Why don't you come in a little closer? That's enough. I picked up some citrine and just wanted to pop it there on the inner corner, and because the shade is so pretty, you could drape it also over any of these metallics. And here's the flashlight dance. I applied quartz on the blue eye, and here's a little bit of what that looks like, the citrine on top of the gold metallic from the palette. If it's not your thing, just skip it. Okay, just skip it. But if you like glitter-like textures, if you like this reflective, aquatic, as he said, finish on the skin, if you like it on your cheeks, you know. Back into the Master Metallic demo, I go in now with the Teal shade. I apply metallic number 4 all over my lid with the finger because I wanted the most color impact, but I do realize, and I run into this with Pat and Natasha metallics as well, when you start to blend out the edges, you could run the risk of blending out some of what's on the lid also. So just keep in mind, if you want to blend out the edges of any of these metallic shades, you will just have to go back either with your finger or the shader brush on top of your lid so you can build up that opacity again. But I don't mind building colors. I think that's par for the course when you're layering shadows and even when you're blending out a metallic. I do feel that Pat's metallics have a little more punch. They're not as thin as Mario's, and I find, let's say if I were applying Lapis Luxury from Decadence, Lapis Luxury, although looks like this, has a lot more body to it, and I find that I don't need to go in again and again like I did with this shade to build up what was on my lid. I apply metallic number 12 on the outer portion of the lid just so I could get a little more depth, you know, just a little more schmirk. And as you see here, I apply metallic number 12 again with my finger just to bring back that saturation of the teal shade. And I do the same with metallic number 12 on the outer part of the lid. Then just for kicks, I wanted to go in with matte number 12 of my Some G34. Just whisk the edges of that metallic shade, and I find it blended really nicely together. It created a beautiful gradient and it just made the look appear smoother and more airbrush. This is where I now use the Master Metals. This was inspired by the metals found in nature. So why don't we go into the product details for this? This palette also retails for $48, weighs in at 7.5 grams of product or 0.25 grams. Each pan, however, weighs in at 1.5 grams of product. Suggested shelf life of 18 months, and this product is also made in Italy. I briefly used this palette. I didn't use it as extensively as wanted. I like the construction of it because this palette in particular, he explained, to inspire creativity for the average makeup user if they feel they get stuck with just mattes and metallic. This technique of combining a mixing medium with a dry pigment has been long used by makeup professionals for for years. He now wanted to present this technique to the makeup consumer in that they wanted to dabble in that, you know, wanted to try some paint, some metallic painting, okay? They will be able to do so. Now, the thing I've been seeing across the board is that the mixing medium included in the collection is this little guy right here. This costs $14 and you only get 15 milliliters or 0.5 fluid ounces of product. This is often compared to Mehron mixing liquid that again is a staple in the beauty industry for makeup professionals everywhere. What people are saying is that yes, the ingredients are the same. They are practically virtually the same. But what I have learned in terms of product ingredients and product formulation is that usually it's the product formulation that determines the price. We can't tell how these ingredients are combined just by looking at the ingredient list. And you also have to consider the packaging. This packaging I think is more expensive to make than the Mehron mixing liquid packaging. So that also can contribute to the price. If they're virtually the same on the ingredient list, and if you already have Mehron mixing liquid, then just use that with your metals palette because you have to buy this separately. This does not come with the palette. So it will cost you a pretty penny. This palette's really cool because you have a well here and you have a little thing to dislodge the tray. So you could put the mixing liquid here, and then this also comes, the palette does, with a little spatula so you could scrape some of the gel to powder formula off from the pan, do a little mixy mix, a little alchemy, okay, in the tray, and you have a really like wet looking type of a thing. But I wanted to quickly show you before we move on with the metallic blue eye that I was working on. Let's put in a little bit of Mario mixing medium right in there. Okay, let's do a little scrape. Let's put it in there with, oh, here we go. That's pretty. This is fun. I'm gonna put a little more of the gel powder because I want to make sure I get a little more viscosity. Chikuhodo AF5. This is from their synthetic line. And I'll take this newly concocted liquid light blue shade. I don't know what's gonna happen. I just want to apply it on the inner part of the eye. Oh, well, that's pretty. Now, from just doing this, I would recommend that you use less mixing liquid than I did. You only need a drop because if it gets too liquidy, then it gets a little too spready. But that's shiny. And you can definitely pat it on to create a little more opacity. You can only imagine how beautiful this will look as like your main stage cut crease shade, you know what I'm saying? Or go in with it dry on top of what you just applied with the mixing medium and then get even more pow. This is what I'm saying. You just gotta have a little bit of fun with it, fam. And then you can kind of mix it in with whatever else is on the lid. And why not? Go in with quartz, the Master Crystal Reflector. Take some of quartz with my pinky and right on top of what we just did, just press it right there. And yeah, man. Now this little guy, in addition to it being $14, this was made in the USA and this lasts for 30 months. So just use your drippity drop and I think you get your money's worth out of it. But again, if you already got your Mehron, you don't need to get it. It's very simple. And I like to keep tissues nearby so I could just wipe this clean, whether it's with the tissue or with, you know, whatever leftover makeup remover I have from a previous sesh. Pop it right back in and you're ready to go. Done. Returning to this look when I started earlier in the day, and I was rather impressed by how the Master Metal shade applied dry. Very pigmented, very shiny, very smooth. And then I proceeded to apply the metallic teal shade with a fluffy brush, but no, you run the risk of getting some fallout in your actual eye because anytime you apply a metallic shade with a fluffier brush, the pigments are just a little freer, you know? So just be wary of that, and especially if you wear contacts. And then I go in with the beige shade to the lower inner part of the eye, or or I think that was the yellow tone or the light yellow tone metallic shade. And then with the Master Reflector highlighter in quartz. And then I went in with the black matte with my small Hakuhodo brush just to line across the top lash line, see what that did. I think this is a great technique if you don't necessarily want to use a pencil to create a little more intensity on the lid, so it could be a softer line instead of more of a harsh pencil line, which you could very much smudge if you wanted to, but if you feel more comfortable using a powder, then go ahead. Now I decided to use the Master Matte's liquid liner in super black. This retails for $22. Suggested shelf life of 6 months, which is typical for liquid products, even just mascara products, and it is made in Germany. This liquid liner is extremely pigmented and features a super sharp, flexible tip for ultimate control. The bulletproof formula grips the lid and is completely smudge proof for bold and lasting definition. I think you have some time to play with this, as I discovered when applying it on my lid. I like that it doesn't set right away, because during my wing building, I ran into a little bit of an error, but I was able to use my fingernail very gently, okay, nothing rough here, to whisk away that sketch from the base of my wing, and I think it looks super black. I had a fairly easy time applying this on my lid, considering that I have the reflector texture on, so sometimes when you're applying liquid on top of one of those topper shades, the liquid liner can pick up that texture and it can negatively impact the application and not it being as smooth. I didn't run into that issue. I found that it was pretty smooth even on top of the metallic shade and the topper shade, and it's super black and it doesn't dry matte, it dries shiny. I really like it. It's been a while since I ran into a liquid liner that I love besides the Cleo Style Kill Black. I think it was Cleo Style. I forgot the Korean makeup brand that I love. Now, I feel I am very much still in the first impression stage of things. I used the products for the first time yesterday. I used them again today. I tried to mix and match, layer as many times as I can to get a nice feel of the collection. Let me just say, I will not be returning anything that I purchased. I understand that a lot of these products are not necessary. Like, you don't need all 3 of the Master Reflector shades. You might not need the balm. I think balms are, and I have said this about the Danessa Myricks the Dew Balm, is, I feel, more of an editorial appropriate product versus everyday. I do agree though that balms definitely induce more of a natural looking glow on the cheekbones, because Mario was saying on the Zoom call he feels that a lot of powder highlighters don't allow the skin to show through, right? Because it is a powder, so it has more opacity than a balm does. A balm allows your natural skin color to show through, but it delivers that glow and that luminosity, right, without the texture from a powder. That is the advantage of using a product like the balm, and I think it's really nice to set up other metallics with. Like, I think this will be really nice under my Surat highlighter stick, might also be nice under my Suku highlighting stick, so I want to play more with this. I also, you know what, I didn't apply it on my lip. Hold on, I'm wearing the Lisa Eldridge lipstick and it gave a really nice sheen, you know what I'm saying? Feel these reflectors are going to be the most misunderstood product out of the entire line. Definitely, if you don't like that type of texture, I do. I like having that on my lid. I also like playing with it on my skin. I think it's fun. It has really nice glow. I feel like I was also the only one that liked Natasha Denona's gold highlighter palette, and again, you have to approach that product with the strategy. You either have to set up your skin first so it's nice and it has adherence for this type of a texture, or you go in with a damp sponge, pick up some of the reflector and then press it onto your skin. I like it. I like it. And the palettes, of course, I'm sure if you have these shades 10 times over, then you don't necessarily need to buy Mario's eyeshadows. Again, it's not because he wanted to bring something so new to the industry. This is his vision. This is what he loves, and I respect that. You just have to be a smart consumer and be reasonable with your budget, with how much you have in your collection. If you are a die-hard Mario the Devanovic fan, then you buy his makeup, right? There's no question about it. If you've been following him for years, you admire his portfolio, his work, and you want to be a part of that, then you buy the makeup. That is totally understandable. I just want to present this material in a way that will help inform you in terms of what you think you need, what you definitely don't need. I like the products. I think they're solid. I will be using them again. They're very travel friendly. I do like the packaging. Is it inconvenient that we can't tell what is what? Sure, you could just flip over the back and figure it out, but if you stack your palettes like this in a drawer, then you could use a label maker to just plaster it on the top and you know what you're getting, what you're grabbing. We already went over the mixy medium thing, okay? You could decide on your own what you want to do with that. Let me know if you're picking up anything from Makeup by Mario, what you've already picked up, what you like, what you don't like so much. If you have any questions about the product, any concerns, I'll be more than happy to help just from my own experience. But yeah, fam, this was oh my gosh, so much information, so much B-roll. I'm so sorry it took so long. And until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another review, tutorial, makeup artist collection extravaganza, monthly favorites, or nightly live chit chat. Take care, and I will see you again soon.